So I mean, I think this is definitely a fascinating topic, and I mean, we're going to explode your story a little bit deeper, right? So with all these different things that you're doing, you're talking about remote. Not only are you applying a service, but you created like a software platform as well. So let's talk about like how did you go from having a service and then creating a pretty world-renowned software for time tracking?
So that actually came about as well due to my tutoring business. One of the big problems that I had was I couldn't actually equate for the amount of hours a student worked for a tutor. So I'd bill a student for 10 hours. The student wouldn't come back to me and say, hey, I only worked with the tutor for 5. I'd go to the tutor and say, did you work with this guy for 10 hours? And he said, yeah, I billed you for 10 hours. I'd end up having to refund the student for 5 hours and pay the tutor the full 10 hours, of which I actually ended up losing money in the deal. And so this was creating a real problem inside of my business. And my now business partner, Rob Rawson, that I've been working with for about 11 years, he had a really kind of like ratchety, crappy alpha of this application that we now call Time Doctor. And he is a medical doctor, so that's why we called it Time Doctor. And we ended up launching that because it perfectly solved the core itch that I had, which was this aspect of basically lack of measurement and instrumentation inside of the business was completely destroying the business and totally destroying the profit margins.
Hmm, hmm. That's interesting. So I mean, essentially, you created a solution for a solution that you already had a solution for, and then you have this whole package, right?
Yeah. So I think that any entrepreneur, I mean, if you're going to be incredibly passionate about something, number one, you have to be incredibly passionate about whatever you try to solve. But more importantly, I think if you want to delve into that a little bit deeper, it has to be a problem that you've personally experienced. You have to scratch your own itch because there's going to be a time, whether it's next year, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, where you're not going to want to do this because it's really hard. And it's that passion and excitement that you had for solving that initial problem that will get you through those tough periods. So for me, I just knew that that was such a perfect solution to one of the biggest problems inside of my business. And I knew there were a ton of other remote companies, even at that point, 10 years ago, that needed the same problem solved inside of their businesses. And that's what I suggest to anybody to do. Just go after that itch, figure it out. Even if it's not a big niche, at least it's something that you could say, you know what, this now exists in the world. This is an answer to that problem. And at least I solved that.